He didn't find out because she slipped up. He found out because she got comfortable, and comfortable is always where it ends. 7 years of marriage, a 4-year-old daughter, a best friend who knew where they kept the spare key. Cheating doesn't start in bed. It starts in silence, in a phone turned face down, for no reason at all. And that's when it stops being a mistake and becomes a decision. Because the marriage wasn't broken. And that's what makes this unforgivable. Peter worked long hours. He had quietly redirected his attention outward toward work, toward the next goal. Not cruel, just absent. And Sarah told herself the distance she felt was just a phase. Here's the thing about telling yourself you're fine when you're not. You don't stop needing what you need. You just stop asking for it. Unmet needs migrate toward the nearest available source of warmth. Sarah had never cheated before. Because the most unsettling affairs happened to people who were certain they never would. What does it take to become someone you don't recognize? Dan was always there. Easy, present. The kind of man who remembered small things, honey, not sugar. Who listened? Who looked at her when she spoke? One Saturday, Peter fell asleep on the couch. Sarah and Dan stayed behind to clean. It had happened dozens of times before. Except this time, he saw her. Not her role, not her function, her. And something in her answered. She didn't tell Peter, not because it was wrong, because it felt too right. That was the first thing she kept from him. Dan started texting her separately. She didn't stop it. She told herself there was nothing to stop. She started sharing things, the distance, the silence, the quiet fear that something in her life had already peaked without her noticing. She was telling Dan the things she should have been telling Peter. She knew that, but knowing something and stopping it are not the same thing. Cheating doesn't start in bed. It starts in the conversations that feel more real than the ones waiting for you at home. You don't hide things you want to stop. And she was hiding things. She deleted messages, changed his name in her phone. Something neutral, something invisible. She knew this wasn't friendship anymore. She just hadn't said it out loud yet. One evening, Peter walked in while she was on her phone. She turned the screen slightly. He noticed. She smiled. Just a meme. He believed her. He had no reason not to. That was the first lie. The first is always the hardest. After that, they get easier. The moment you prepare a lie before it's needed, it's no longer innocent. And Sarah was already prepared. She started creating reasons to see him. Names, excuses, plans. One afternoon, she went to his apartment. Nothing happened, but something almost did. And sometimes, that's enough. She stayed longer than she should have, drove home with unsteady hands, kissed Peter like nothing had changed, and said nothing. There was a night she will never forget, her daughter asleep. Peter working late, her phone in her hand, Dan on the other end. She was laughing the kind you don't fake. Then she looked up, a drawing on the fridge. Their family, a wedding photo on the wall. She saw everything, clearly. She put the phone down. For 3 hours, she didn't answer. And then she did. Guilt doesn't stop you. It just follows you. It's not a wall. It's a shadow. She could have stopped there. She didn't. Dan asked her to go for a walk. She chose her outfit. Told Peter she was going to the pharmacy. Had answers ready before questions came. You don't prepare for something you plan to refuse. They walked. And then he said it. Not loudly, not dramatically, just honestly. He thought about her. He couldn't not say it anymore. She didn't step back. She said his name. That was enough. That wasn't where it happened. That's where she decided it would. Some doors don't close the same once opened. This wasn't confusion anymore. This was permission. By the time Peter booked his work conference, she wasn't wondering if it would happen. She was wondering how it would feel after. Peter packed for 2 nights away. The night before he left, he checked on his daughter twice. She was asleep, holding a stuffed animal. He stood there a moment longer than usual. Then he went back to the bedroom and kissed Sarah goodnight like nothing in his life was about to change. He almost said something. He didn't know that would have changed everything. Sarah texted Dan. She had a free Saturday. He replied in under 2 minutes. Some things take months to build, and less than an hour to become irreversible. Sunday evening, Peter came home. He kissed her. How was the weekend? She smiled. Quiet. We missed you. Their daughter ran into his arms, and Sarah watched and felt nothing she expected. Just a calm. A terrifying calm. Like crossing a line and finding the world looks exactly the same. Except something is missing, and he had no idea. The double life became easy. Dinners, stories, Saturdays. Dan still came over. Peter started to feel something he couldn't name. A dimness, so he tried harder. Flowers on a Tuesday, dinner reservations. Every act of love made it heavier. Sarah almost stopped. Twice. She didn't. It didn't end with a confrontation. It ended with a phone, left unlocked. Peter saw the message. He picked it up. Read it. And then, again. The last 7 months didn't hit all at once. They assembled. Every late errand, every turned screen, every Saturday. He put the phone down, sat in the same kitchen, looked at the same walls, and nothing looked different. That was the worst part. The same house, the same life, just something inside it wasn't his anymore. 3 days later, he asked, "Is there something you need to tell me?" She cried. That was the answer. So tell me, was it loneliness that led her there? Or did she know, from the very first secret, exactly where this was going? I read every answer.